lot of businesses think Google is ignoring them. It's not. Google just doesn't fully understand why your business deserves attention yet. And honestly, sometimes your website is making that harder. I've seen businesses spend $10,000 on a beautiful website and still barely appear in search. Meanwhile, another company with a much uglier website is quietly getting leads every week. That bothers people when I say it, but after doing this for over 20 years, I've seen it too many times to ignore. Some businesses are invisible online not because they're bad businesses, but because they built a website that looks professional instead of a website that communicates clearly. There's a difference. And right now, a lot of business owners are confusing the two, especially with all the noise online about SEO being dead, AI replacing search, social media taking over. People are building websites almost like digital business cards now. Launch it, post it, done. Then 6 months later, why am I not showing up on Google? That question comes up constantly, and the answer usually has very little to do with the design. I've been building websites and working with businesses for more than 2 decades, and one pattern keeps repeating. The businesses struggling the most with Google visibility are often not the businesses people expect. Sometimes it's the company with the polished branding, cinematic homepage video, modern animations, but almost no search presence. Then you look at the competitor ranking above them. The site looks older, simpler, less impressive visually, but it's clear. Specific service pages, specific locations, clear messaging, actual answers to customer questions. Google understands what that business does within seconds. A lot of business owners underestimate how much clarity matters online now. Not cleverness, not trends, not fancy effects, clarity. I used to think design was the biggest differentiator too. I don't anymore. Now I think discoverability matters more than impressing other designers. And I know some people in the industry won't like hearing that. But I've watched too many businesses disappear behind prettier competitors that nobody can actually find. Part of the problem is the way websites are sold. A business owner hires somebody. The site launches. Everyone celebrates. Then there's this quiet assumption in the background. Okay, now Google traffic should start. But Google doesn't work like that anymore. Actually, I'm not even sure it ever really did. You're competing against established businesses, massive directories, Reddit threads, YouTube videos, AI-generated content, local competitors, national brands, and everybody is fighting for the same attention. Meanwhile, I still see websites launching with one generic homepage, vague messaging, duplicated text, weak headings, no local targeting, no content depth, no ongoing updates. Then the business owner feels confused when nothing happens. And honestly, I understand why. The industry has trained people to think SEO is some hidden technical switch. Install a plugin, add keywords, done. But Google is evaluating trust, consistency, relevance, behavior, structure, depth, authority. It's looking at whether your website genuinely deserves visibility compared to everything else competing for the same search. That's a much harder conversation than just optimize your keywords. A lot of websites are basically digital brochures. They exist, but they don't compete. And those are two completely different things. I'll look at a website and immediately notice, I still don't fully know what this company actually does. That's more common than people realize. Businesses try so hard to sound professional that their messaging becomes vague. Solutions, excellence, customized services, innovative approach. Okay, but what do you actually do? Who is this for? Where do you work? What problem are you solving? Google struggles with vague websites because humans struggle with vague websites. And then there's another issue. Some businesses are trying to rank one homepage for 20 different services across 5 different cities. That almost never works well anymore. Google needs context, specific pages, specific intent, specific relevance. I've seen tiny local companies outperform larger polished competitors simply because their website structure made more sense. Not prettier, more understandable. That's a huge distinction. And honestly, this is where a lot of businesses lose visibility without realizing it. Because they think their issue is marketing, when sometimes the issue is communication. What's interesting is, some of the businesses disappearing from Google are actually good businesses. Good service, good reputation, good people. They just built their online presence backwards. They focused on launch instead of long-term relevance. And I think social media made this worse, because now a lot of business owners treat websites like static profile pages. Instagram gets updated constantly. TikTok gets updated constantly. But the website? Nothing changes for 2 years. No new pages, no useful content, no expanded services, no updates, no signals of activity. Then people wonder why Google slowly stops paying attention. And another thing nobody talks about enough. Google has to trust your business before it consistently ranks you. A domain existing online is not trust. A polished design is not trust. Trust gets built over time through consistency, usefulness, structure, authority, mentions, engagement. That's why businesses expecting instant SEO results after launch usually end up disappointed. And honestly, I think some agencies are partly responsible for those expectations, because SEO package sounds easier to sell than explaining how long visibility actually takes to build. I don't think Google cares nearly as much about looking impressive as businesses think it does. Google cares whether your website helps solve intent. That changes everything. Because now the question becomes, does your website actually answer what people are searching for? A lot of websites don't. They talk about themselves constantly, but they don't answer real customer questions. And I've changed my opinion on this over the years too. I used to admire complex websites. Now I admire effective websites. Simple navigation, clear service structure, focused messaging, useful content, fast mobile experience. That usually performs better long term. And mobile matters more than some businesses realize. I still see sites that look decent on desktop and feel frustrating on a phone. Meanwhile, most traffic is coming from phones now. That disconnect hurts businesses quietly, not dramatically, quietly, which is actually worse, because you don't notice the lost lead. You don't see the person leave. You just slowly become less discoverable. And by the time businesses realize something is wrong, their competitors already built momentum. Every few years, somebody announces SEO is dead. I've been hearing that for a long time. Usually, what's actually dead is lazy SEO, shortcut SEO, template SEO, generic SEO. Strategic visibility still matters, probably more than ever, because attention is harder to earn now. And I think business owners feel that pressure. There's more competition, more noise, more AI content, more platforms pulling attention away. So businesses start chasing hacks. But the companies quietly winning search over time usually aren't chasing hacks. They're building useful ecosystems around their business. Content, service pages, authority, consistency, specificity. That's slower, less exciting, harder to package into a flashy promise. But it works. And honestly, I think a lot of businesses are still treating Google like it's 2014. You could get away with thinner websites back then. Now, Google is comparing you against entire ecosystems of content. That's a completely different environment. Have you noticed this happening in your industry too? Where businesses with stronger online visibility aren't always the best businesses? They're just easier to find? That gap is getting bigger. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings in business right now is this idea that having a website means having an online presence. It doesn't. Not anymore. A website alone means very little if nobody discovers it. And I say that as somebody who builds websites for a living. That's probably the part some people won't agree with. But I'd rather say it honestly than keep pretending design alone solves visibility. Because I've seen too many businesses quietly lose opportunities while assuming the problem was the algorithm. Sometimes the problem is simpler. The business never built enough relevance for Google to fully trust and surface them consistently. And that takes time, structure, consistency, useful information, clear positioning, depth, not tricks. That's why some businesses slowly grow stronger in search, year after year, while others stay invisible, no matter how modern the website looks. One is building discoverability. The other is building appearance. And those are no longer the same thing. So if your business isn't showing up on Google right now, maybe the question isn't, why is Google ignoring me? Maybe the better question is, what signals have I actually given Google to understand, trust, and recommend this business over everything else competing for attention? That's the conversation more businesses need to start having. And if you would like more tips on running a smooth, profitable web design business, please like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any valuable tips. My name is Fabio Peters. Until next time, take care.